Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the SimShed Broadcasting Network for the Anzcar Abruzzi Cup here on the JP SimShed Network. I hope you're all doing well. We're back here in Miami at Homestead. We've not really left Miami yet for this season, so it's been a bit of a front-loaded season here. Joining me tonight in the booth is Dave Douglas. How you going, Dave?
Good evening, Carl. Good evening, everybody. Still in sunny Florida, down in Miami tonight at the mile and a half track at Homestead. Good track, one of my faves. Looking forward to tonight's race.
Yeah, it should be a good one tonight. I'm looking forward to it here. What we're going to do, just quickly before we start going through the grid-up processes, we're going to grab A1 Sim Sports driver Aidan Schultz up and have a quick chat to him and just say hello and see what it's like out there from a driver's perspective. Aidan Schultz, welcome to the booth tonight. How are you going?
Good evening, Carl. How are you?
Good, thank you. Welcome to the booth. It's nice to have you up here. How's it going out there tonight for you on the track so far?
It's been a little bit interesting. I've been trying to do some streaming and all that type of stuff, so I've been a little bit preoccupied and I haven't been able to put down a proper good lap. So, I'm feeling comfortable. I like the track. It's good. Riley's put down a decent time. We'll see how we go tonight, to be honest, with the last couple of weeks that's happened. With Daytona and then the road course, it'll be really good just to consolidate a nice finish tonight, to be honest.
It must be nice being back to a sort of semi-normal track in Homestead rather than a super speedway or a road course, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. But this track isn't easy either, and I've just stuffed up there. Just bear with me. Bear with me for 1 sec, mate.
That's okay. It is a tricky one. So what we'll do is we'll let you go, and if we get a caution up, we'll grab you up quickly to have a quick chat, but we're just going to start running through the grid now. Thank you so much for joining us, Aidan. Aidan Schultz there for the A1 Sim Sports team. Good to have a bit of insight from the drivers, and of course, it is a tricky track, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it is, mate. I just went for a couple of laps before. It's loose, so look for loose early on here.
Okay, let's start running through the grid as they start setting up. So up on the front row of the grid is Jason Martin with Jake Maloney next to him. Second row of the grid is Neil Pearson with Justin Howe, Josh Micklemore and Hamish Gallagher are next. Danny G and Andrew Dyson are on the fifth row of the grid. Sixth is Jason Hardigan with Stephen Williams, Aaron Dillon and Justin Witcher in 11th and 12th. Chris Purnell and Dwayne Priest on 13-14. Barry Neal, James Robbie behind them with Lachlan Urquio and James Robbie and Lachlan Urquio in 16th, 17th. 18th, 19th, we have Reese May with Riley Curtis. Next up, we have Jason Nichols with Edward Foster down there in 21st position. A little bit low down for Foster, but obviously a lot can happen on this track. We've got Raymond Yeager and the aforementioned Aidan Schultz there in 23rd. Mid-pack for them. Next is Luke Trahir with Ruben Phelps, Matt Hunter, Tristan Koch, Cade Donnell with Ryan Bull, Nigel Patton with Philip Woolley, Phil Otto with Bradley Wingard, Scott Griffiths with Gary Wellman, Devon Stove with Nathan Button, Greg Spencer and Philip Howe, Christopher Finley, Raymond Yeager, and we are green for the race. Sorry, too many cars to call, but we are green for the race, and away they go.
Yeah, big field tonight. We got the 21 of Jason Martin back at the front where we've known him to be. So a good start from Martin, and he's got Pearson in behind him, who's in a bit of a purple patch at the moment.
And just behind him, that was Jake Maloney just getting loose there, coming off of turn number 2 there. He's managed to keep the car going, but has managed to keep it going, keep it straight. But that was a big moment there.
Yeah, certainly. I'm not sure what the go is there, whether he just dropped down to, we got another one loose there, going down the apron there. But I'm not sure if he just got loose or he actually just wants to drop back to the back here. But I'm sure there's one spin in the background, right back in the background, as you can see in your footage there. I'm not sure if we're going to go yellow. We stay green for now. It was a white car. I'm not sure who it was. Fill out our hearings. So we're going to go back for a quick look. He just got loose off turn 4 here, as you do, and had a big text about it. Oh, well done to the 06 is it there that got caught up in that. So most of those guys got away with it, and we stay green though.
We have stayed green, but yeah, big amount of damage for for one of the cars down there. I think it was Philip Howell there going into him and T-boning him. That is not going to be good for his race. But back up the front, Jason Martin is leading with Neil Pearson behind him. We saw Neil Pearson having that brilliant win last time out on the road course, of course, and he's had a good start to his season. Jason Martin is wanting to get a bit of a start for his run this year as well, of course. He's not had the best starts to a season so far, but he's going to want to try and make that change. And this is the kind of circuit where Martin tends to excel on.
Yeah, exactly. And you got Justin Howe in there in third place. He's doing a good job. I don't see his name too often. I'm not sort of known to him, but yeah, he's doing a good job in third at the moment. But you can see right behind him, there's Mitch cars, Michael Moore, Hamish Gallagher, and then Danny G right behind them. So all the Mitch cars in the top 6 at the moment.
Yeah, the Mitch cars are looking strong out there tonight. It's just a big Mitch sandwich at the front, really, isn't it? A lot of cars out there tonight as well. We had 49 cars out there qualifying tonight. Only 43 make it into the race. So some unfortunate stories there for a couple of drivers tonight, sadly, that didn't make it into the race. But this is a tricky one. Homestead is one of those tracks that can be very tricky to drive on, especially early on, as we saw. When the tyres are cold here, this track can be very difficult, can't it?
Yeah, definitely, especially on that first lap, as we saw from Phil Otto. I think that, unfortunately, that cutter did get caught up, just blew a motor down the back straight. So, yeah, it is tough, and it's funny because it turns loose, and then it will eventually go a bit tight as well as the run goes on, and it is hard on tyres. So the more you can look after your tyres here, the longer you will go and the more speed we will have over that run.
Yeah, it's a lot of tyre management rather than fuel management here, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. If it comes to a fuel race, then that's a whole nother ballgame on its own. But for speed here, it's just managing those tyres over a run, because you want to have that basically the average speed, the fastest average speed over that run, rather than being quick in the start or in the wall at the end.
That's it. To finish first you have to finish a course, and well, to get good points, you have to have a consistent, steady race as well. And that's one of the important things in racing like this, is just having that consistency. And somebody that tends to do quite good at that is leading the race at the moment. Jason Martin tends to have an almost metronomic effect on laps, where he tends to be quite consistent over those runs.
Yeah, he's a good tyre manager, so he'll just be managing that, especially at the front. It's a lot easier to do it when you're in front, because once this race goes on, it is harder to pass, because you open up that inside, and you just, as I said, you get tight, and it's hard to get the run down these straights, because the car on the outside always has that momentum coming off the top of the track.
Yeah, that's it. It's always a good place to be to get that run off.
As Hal goes for a look on the inside of Pearson at the moment, as we're looking at Hardikin as well on another one of those DPR cars, which is Stephen Williams, I believe, back there.
Yeah, and just with Pearson and Howell at the front, Howell just got a little bit of contact with Pearson there, just ran up a little bit into Pearson as they went through turns 1 and 2 there. No damage, no harm, foul, but just a little rub between them, and that has put Pearson a little bit on the tent hook, so he's just going to lose that position to Justin Howell, who's going to get second place now behind Jason Martin.
Yeah, definitely, and next behind him is Josh Mickelmore, as we see the 40, which I think is Kate Donnelly on the inside of Raymond Yago in 23. Making a pass there, which up into out of turn 2, onto the back straight, gets it done.
Nice move there, pretty much textbook move there as well. That's what you want to sort of get working. And one of the things as well with a track like this, of course, is you can, if you get pushed out a bit too wide, of course, you do get quite a lot of marbles, don't you? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, it's easy to end up in that fence. There is a top groove up there. In real life series, you see Kyle Larson make use of that the best. He runs that wall and right on that wall, and makes great speed out of it. But in the iRacing, you don't get as much speed. Probably uses more tyre than you'd like as well. So it's not as effective here, but it is there to be used as well. That's it.
It's all about the car positioning, and you'll see these drivers sort of just sticking to their lines quite a lot. There's not going to be sort of side-by-side action like we saw at the super speedways. On a track like this, a slightly smaller oval, you're going to see more single file running, but when somebody gets the run working, they will make that move and make it stick usually.
Yeah, for sure. And as you can see, there's 2 different lines. You're just looking at the leaders here. You got Jason Martin. He's coming off a little lower out of the turns, and how Justin in the 28 is coming off a lot higher on the track. So a couple of different lines around here. Obviously, people see. You can see on your screen there. So the guys in front, Jason's a lot shallower on the exit than the 78 there. So as Josh is going to have a look. Is he at Pearson? Is very close there. Not this time around, but Pearson does see him, so he just opened the steering up a little bit just in case, but I don't think he's going to get the run off here, though.
No, Pearson having that high line is just going to have that little bit better run onto the corner, of course. You almost can straighten the car out a little bit quicker there and just get a little bit more of a run as you come onto the straight. So sometimes it's about making that move, sort of trying to go down the inside to make the driver go overly defensive for a couple of laps and then try and snag them a little bit as they try and defend the inside line can be a very valid way of trying to make that overtake work.
Yeah, I'm really interested in the lines. Look at the different lines we've got here on the screen here. You've got the cars up top. We've got Micklemore coming up the inside of the 9 here, having a look. He does get a pretty good run off there, so he might look to go down the inside at turn 3 here. And he does dive down there, and it's going to be interesting, as I said. It can tighten up on the inside there, so Pearson will get the run off the turn as well. So it is hard to pass on the inside.
And there you see it, Pearson just slotting in front of Josh Micklemore, and he's going to get a good run now on Justin Howe as well. He's going to try and go down the inside, but this could be a bit of a mistake from Pearson. Howe actually running it a little bit higher than we've seen all night there. He's just running right up to the top of that line, like you were saying, just using that real high line there. But, of course, sometimes you get that little bit of slingshot, and you go for that overtake, and then the car behind will jump you. Yeah,
for sure. I think it was more of a spook for the 78 there to go up the track than it was in delivery. As Neil Pearson makes a quick, aggressive dive to the inside down into turn 1. We'll see if we can get it this time by... Oh, tighten up there.
Just a cigarette paper between those two cars right there, but they kept it absolutely perfect. Good job, good driving from both of them there, but so hard to do on a track like this, especially as your tyres start to go off a little bit, as we've done 15 laps so far.
That's right, so even Stevens down into turn 3 and 4 now, and looks like Neil Pearson's going to get that job done and be able to slide up in front, and the 78 may answer back immediately down to turn 1, but he's probably better off just pushed as he sits behind as Josh Micklemore goes for a dive now under the 78.
Really nice manoeuvre there, just getting that working out almost perfectly. And you can see right now Micklemore has that sort of lower position. He's going to get a good run right now on Justin Howe and possibly make that move stick. He's holding it. He's trying his best, but Justin Howe's just got that better run on the exit. Yeah, but Micklemore's got him now.
Yeah, just got too deep into turn 3 there. Just went up the track a bit. So it is you do have to hold the car down there to be able to hold that position. So if you open up that track to them, they will take advantage of that and use what you leave up there, basically. Yeah, as he runs the wall now.
That's it. And just behind him, 2 more mixed motorsport cars are coming for him. You've got Hamish Gallagher there and Danny G as well. Those guys are starting to close in on him as well.
Yeah, we're looking at the champ, Edward Foster, making a move up the inside of another DPR car, which is Dan Stevens, I believe, in the 98. Looking to try and make a move here on the inside of him.
Stephen Williams.
Oh, we got a wreck down the front straight, actually. We got the Hamish Gallagher in the 13 and the 78, Justin Howe having I missed out. It's still going on back there. Oh, these guys, they need to check up back there, boys. Come on. But, yeah, big wreck. We'll have to jump back to a replay here and have a look. I just missed it. I was actually watching the live action as we go to a replay.
Howe just went into the wall there, just running up into the wall there, Justin Howe, and he's gone into Hamish Gallagher there, just a passenger there. Hamish Gallagher just getting belted across the track, and he's tried to sort of hold it in position. He's held the brakes. Not much you can do in that position, unfortunately, and a few cars getting caught up in that.
Big hit there for the 13 on the inside, and just unlucky victim there. And who's that behind? That'd be Purnell, I'd imagine, or Trahir, and who does just clip him on the way past, as well as the orange car there on the 22, which I'm not sure who that is. But these cars back here, they didn't check up enough or didn't realise. And you see the Speed Cafe, Riley Curtis is just going to come blindside and absolutely drill the side of the 13, and that'll be nice. Matty Hunter also blindsided by that 13, and yeah, unfortunately, sometimes you just can't check up quick enough, and when you've got a car stationary in the middle of the track, there's not much you can do.
So that was a absolutely huge crash. We talk about the big one sometimes, and we usually expect it for some of the bigger tracks like Daytona and the super speedways, but when you're racing so close with each other, even these small tracks, a big crash at the front will cause a huge wreck ahead of you.
Absolutely. So some good replays there as we all dive into the pits now to take tyres. As I said, it is hard on tyres. So, but remember the limited sets. I believe they've only got 3 sets available plus the ones they're on now.
Yeah, that's it. 4 sets of tyres for the race. So everybody's going to come and jump on those tyres on lap 20. So they've got a long way to go still as well. We've got 130 laps tonight. So
interesting enough.
Those leaders.
Sorry to cut over there, Carl, that the 21 car just got a bit balked by the Ryan Bull machine coming out, which is 003. So interesting on race off pit road here. We'll see if he can hold on to that lead.
Yeah, he has got the advantage of having a little bit further up. Neil Pearson missing his box, I think. He's had to reverse in his box. I saw that just out the corner of my eye. He's going to lose a lot of positions from that one.
Yeah, he's still going, Pearson. He's only just up on the jacks now, so he's going to fall almost right to the back of this field, and that's right side's done for him. The left side's now getting done. So, yeah, big mistake for Pearson there.
Yeah, that's devastating for Pearson there. He was having a good run up the front and wanting to carry over that momentum from his win last time out at the road circuit at Daytona. But Jason Martin has come out in front, I think. We've still got a couple of cars circulating, I believe, on track that didn't choose to pit in. We'll see if they come in the next couple of laps. So.
Now, I'll tell you what, the strategies at play here. Barry Neal was in the pits. I reckon he's taken 2, as well as Dwayne Priest has taken 2 tyres as well. So we've got a mixed bag at the front, so this will make things interesting for sure.
Yeah, Gary Wellman stayed out, so he's not taken any tyres at all. So he's just stayed out there and just rolling the dice a little bit, getting himself some time up front as well, getting to lead the race for a little bit, which is always a fun feeling.
Yeah, definitely. But we got Ryan Bull there. I think he's a lap down, so he'll take the wave around now. He must have just entered the pits possibly as that caution was coming out. I'm not sure, but he'll get a wave around here, and Gary Wellman will take the lead of this race. So no tyres, 2 tyres and 4 tyres. So we've got a full mixed bag at the front. It will be interesting to watch because there's going to be a massive speed difference here.
Yeah, that's it. Of course, sometimes those 2 tyre strategies can pay off, but the car does feel a bit weird for those first couple of laps as they bed in. When you're running on sort of some cold tyres and some nice slightly warm tyres, it can sometimes throw you out a little.
Yeah, absolutely. Even coming off pit road, it'll track to one side. So one side will be more grip than the other, and it's just like basically dipping 2 wheels in the grass. So the grippier side, it'll turn to wherever the grip is, basically.
And you've got to say, with the restart, this is going to favour Jason Martin because he's only going to have 1 car ahead of him, of course, as they line up 2 by 2. It might be a different story for Josh Micklemore as he's got to line up behind Gary Wellman and Dwayne Priest as well. So he'll have 2 cars to get through, whereas Jason Martin will just have the 1 to battle, which can sometimes make a bit of a difference on those restarts. Sometimes that high line can get away a little bit easier, especially if they've got slightly fresher tyres. Of course, the big thing is, though, in Anzcar and the series is you can't overtake until you get to the line. So it's the leader's initiative to lead the race here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd expect to see the 21 to possibly go straight to the outside here in turn 1 and 2 and possibly make it 3 wide with those grippy fresh tyres. But they are cold as well, so it will take a lap. You can't lean on them too early, otherwise he will get loose. And yeah, you don't know what happened here. End up in the fence or anywhere.
No, that's it. There's still a lot of laps here to go, of course. And we did see that earlier with a lot of cars just struggling a little bit with those cold tyres.
Yeah, definitely. As you see, Gary Wellman just giving the throttle a bit of a blip here, just to check the grip level. Let's hopefully he gets off the line, and yeah, because it's a big tunnel down in the turn 1. Walls on the outside, walls on the inside as well.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when you get caught up in that, as we just saw, there's not much you can do, sadly, when you get caught in that position, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, keep an eye on this restart. She's going to be a cracker.
So we're getting ready here to go. Gary Wellman's going to lead us away as it goes green. He gets a good restart there. Beautiful restart by Gary Wellman. Caught the rest napping around him. Josh Micklemore also right on the tail of Dwayne Priest there. Got to say, actually, Jason Martin looked to be a little bit sheepish there at the restart. But now it's starting to catch up. He's got that slightly fresher tyre, and he's going to be able to run around the outside of Dwayne Priest. That's going to give him that slight advantage as he climbs to the back of Barry Neal. He's going to probably go down, try for the inside possibly, or just hold back a little bit and then go for the attack in a couple of moments. But Gary Wellman getting away extremely well there.
Yeah, definitely. And as Jason goes to the inside now, you can see the guys 3 wide back there. I think that might be Aaron Dillon and the pink one back there, possibly. But yeah, we're 3 wide across the track here. We've got the 2 Mitch cars down the inside. Now to be 3 Mitch cars down the inside of Barry Neal now.
Yeah, a lot of cars there, and a very dangerous position as well, of course, when you are running 3 wide on a track like Homestead Miami.
Yeah, definitely. You see the pink car there as well. I need to get a name on that car. I think it is Aaron Dillon. But
Aaron Dillon,
yeah, it is. He's diving down there. All I know is the colour, so I'm just going by colours. I'm slowly getting used to the numbers and colours.
That's it. And then they go and change them just to throw you off, like Josh Micklemore this year.
Absolutely. As Josh Mickle makes a move down the inside of Gary Wellman now, and he's moved up into, what would be third or fourth up there? Second, sorry. He's up behind his teammate of Jason Martin now, and we've got Andrew Dyson making a move in a DPR car now, moving past Gary. Well, we're reckoning into turn 3.
We've got a car going around. Lachlan Urquio, they're going around into the
green, though. Yellow comes out, late yellow now, so it's coming out right now. So yeah, we go back to replay. I'll let you call this one, Carl.
Okay, so Neil Pearson just coming up the inside there, just catching Lockie there. Just having a little look back at that myself.
Hello and welcome.
They just caught down, so yeah, both of them just caught each other there, and it's looks like Pearson's tried to go down on that inside line, and Lachlan has just come down to try and block him off, but just maybe left it a little bit too late. Pearson having quite a bit more speed, and they just made contact coming into that corner. Yeah,
you just caught the end of it on that replay there, but yeah, he was all over him. I'm just going to go have a look at myself because I didn't catch it. Oh, he goes for the dive. I think Lachlan actually goes for the block. Oh, I think Neil's seen the block come and then decided, you know what, you're going to try a block me. I'm not going to back out of this, and swipe the front across the back of the 42 there. So there might be a little bit more in that. I think Pearson's just standing his ground there, and Lockie just coming down a bit late there. But yeah, we're getting aggressive early days here.
We are indeed, and you know, that's the thing. Sometimes is you sort of, in situations like that, you sort of try your best to make the best of the situation. Brick, jumping us back up in the booth is Aidan Schultz for this caution period. Aidan, how are you going down there?
Yeah, we're sitting down here. We're going okay. Trying to play the long game. Unfortunately, didn't qualify that well, as I said earlier, and sorry to jump you off early before. I just had a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, we're sitting here okay. Pace is quick at the front, but feel really good in the car at the moment. So long race, we'll see how we go. People didn't want to come into the pits then to take tyres. So, yeah, we'll see how we go. People behind us probably did, so...
Yeah, we had a couple of people stopping there, of course. The first stop as well, we did see a few people opting for the 2-tyre option as well, just changing one side over the other. Were you sort of thinking about 2 tyres or 4 tyres in that first stop, or were you sort of set on taking all 4?
In that first caution, I wasn't going to take anything. In the second caution, if I was going to pit, I was going to take all 4. I don't feel a benefit of taking the outside 2, to be honest. It unsettles the car a little bit too much. It's all about your fuel burn and everything, and how it suits your driving and how it happens. But if they took 2, that's good. But if you take the inside 2 and not the outside 2 on your second stint, I don't see how that's going to be a benefit. But at the same time, we all drive differently. So at the moment, I haven't taken any tyres. I'm completely good, and we'll see what happens if there's another caution or we pit under green.
Yeah, and just quickly before I let you go, just talking through that first caution on lap 18, I think it was, when the leaders had that contact. Was it a bit sketchy for you down there in the mid-pack?
Yeah, 100% it was. I went low. I was lucky I got through it. Riley, my teammate for A1 Sim Sports, unfortunately he got caught up in that, which was no fault of his own. So really disappointed for Riley, since he was sitting 4th in the championship coming into this, I believe. So that's really disappointing for Riley. So I'll just be trying to do my best tonight and get as far forward and try and bring these A1 Sim Sports cars up to the front. I don't have a livery tonight because we had a little bit of an issue with the liveries, getting it sorted, but we'll have that sorted for next week.
Wonderful. Look forward to seeing the new livery. Good luck for the rest of the night. We'll keep an eye on you, and hopefully we'll see you back in the booth soon. Thanks, Aidan.
No worries, Carl. Feel free to jump back in.
Aidan Schultz there for the A1 Sim Sports team. Always nice to have a bit of view from the actual drivers during the race. Gives you a little bit of a different perspective sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. And you know who I would love to get a view from at the moment would be the car 9 and car 42, because I've been reviewing that incident after while we were talking to Aidan there, and I'll tell you what, there's a bit of have at it boys in that one, which is Robbins racing, they say. So I think one blocked, one didn't take that too well. He got offended by that, and that's the end result. But no damaged cars by the looks of it, so they're both still on track. So keep an eye on those two tonight.
Yeah, we have seen Lockie do well from a spin to get back up there. We saw that at Daytona, so don't write it off yet.
That's what he does. That's Lockie you all over.
And he has actually had a couple of good races in the feeder series in the in our feeder series.
Yeah.
Series, yeah, he's had a couple of wins on the streak, so he's got a 2-win streak going. So he is on some performance at the moment. He is having a good time, but the pace car is going to come in. Jason Martin's going to lead us away with Josh Mickelmore on the outside, and they come in, and the green flag will wave, and Jason Martin launches the car down the track, gets a good restart there with his teammates all around him.
Yeah, I think that was pretty well scripted for the Mitch cars there. They all took off at the same time, got a good jump. So, 1, 2, 3 for the Mitch cars. They're back at the front again here tonight.
They are, and I think Gary Wellman there just having a bit of a moment. He's starting to struggle a bit now with those tyres and just getting swallowed up in that pack as well. So, bit of a tricky restart for him on those very old tyres.
Yeah, definitely. And just keep an eye on the pack behind because they're 2 wide coming off turn. 4 there, 3 wide down the inside now is a simrigs.com car, which would be another DPR car of Pearson, actually fighting back through the pack there on the inside of the 777, Dwayne Priest, I think that is.
Yeah, so Neil Pearson's bringing along his teammate Stephen Williams as well. So those guys are racing close with each other. They just got Gary Wellman between them as well. Jason Hardigan having a good run at the moment, chasing down Andrew Dyson as well. So Jason Hardigan now is right on the back of Aaron Dillon too. So he's having a good run up the field as well. Nice to see Hardigan back in the race. Foster as well having a good work up the field. He's up there in 5th position at the moment. So working his way to the front of the field. They're going down on Danny G right now, just on the inside there, making that move look almost easy. He's going to get a good run off here because he was mid-corner. He should be able to get a decent position to defend against Danny G now. We'll see how this one works out.
Yeah, that's it, Carl. Keep an eye on that 53. He's come from 21st on this grid. It's lap 32, so he's worked his way up to be top 5 now. So car's got speed. The driver goes all right as well, so we'll see how he goes here. But he's going to start to work away on these Mitch cars. As you see, the 920 of Purnell has actually moved up as well, so he's up there to take it to these Mitch cars as well.
Yeah, the Crank Esports team are really coming quite strong at the moment. They had a win in the truck series this week with Chris Purnell, and they're trying to make some big splashes on the series as well, and they're not doing a bad job of it. A little bit further back is his teammate, Michael Scurlock, who has made up 32 positions at the moment. He's back there in 11th place. Quite a bit of damage on the front of that car, though, but he is not making that. It doesn't look like that's affecting him at all at the moment. And we did see with Scurlock, he had quite a lot of damage and then won Daytona.
Yeah, that's true, but I'd say that's where the damage come from, that Hamish Gallagher on that first caution. I did see a car, wasn't sure if it was Purnell or Scurlock, because I think we're missing Luke Trahere tonight, so he's not with us, but the other two are fighting through the field. Scurlock has. I think he started, as you say, Carl, stone motherless last. Yeah,
Luke Trahere down in 18th place at the moment. Just a quiet night for him at the moment. Battling away, but it is such a big field out there tonight. We have got 42 cars out on the track, I believe. So yeah, there's a lot of cars out there. A couple of people are sitting in pit lane now with some damages, but yeah, quite a lot of cars out there still.
Now there's change for the lead. So Nichols has passed Jason Martin for the lead now. I missed that, but the 31 car is being scored in position 1 at the moment. As you can see, Aaron Dillon outside of Neil Pearson with his teammate in behind him, working away on those 2 cars there.
Yeah, and Chris Purnell is really right on the back of Jason Martin as well. That maneuver was done a couple of laps ago, I think, for Josh Mickelmore, so he's had the lead for a little bit of time now. Jason Martin, though, is just trying to get back up there and work his way back to that leading position.
Yeah, so obviously the 9 is on a recovery drive here, I should say, as he missed his pit box, made a mess of the pit stop from that first caution. So he's on his way back through the field now, and he's got the pace as well to go with it.
Yeah, that's one of the big things we say, of course, is never give up, because you never know in motorsport. Things can come your way anytime. The only time that matters is at the end of the race when that checkered flag is flying, of course.
That's it, as case in point for the 350 at Daytona only 2 weeks ago now, two rounds ago at least anyway.
Yeah, that is it. It's
Oh, geez. Someone was rubbing the fence. I think it would have been Denny G, just as you see in
sorry,
his
towards the back,
TVs.
we've got a big incident towards the back. Reese May has gone around. I'm just trying to have a little look, see what's happened. I think Reese May's gone into the wall. Devon Stove, I believe, also involved in that one as well. But yeah, Reese May going up into the wall and going around there. And then Ryan Bull and Reese May just having a little bit of contact. Nothing too bad between those two, just a little love tap. But that has brought out the another caution for the evening.
Yeah, it's all happening down the back there just on that one. I'm just going back to have a look at the replay myself because I missed it. But yeah, he may have got a bit of a push there, so to unsettle him. And then, yeah, as I said, down the back straight, a bit of a tank slap. A lot of cars involved. Well, not involved, but a lot of little cars around him there as well.
Yeah, it's always the hardest part is avoiding an incident like that, of course, especially when it is sort of a little bit higher up the pack from where you're sitting. Now the big question is who's going to come in for pit stops. We see a few cars behind coming into the pit lane. We've got Gary Wellman coming in, Stephen Williams, Barry Neal as well coming in. So a couple of cars have chosen to come in right now on lap 39, sorry.
Yeah, of 130 laps, mind you, as well. So remember, his hard on tyres. So this is going to be a big race on tyres. To win this race, you're going to have to look after these tyres and use your pit strategy correctly, I think.
Well, that is absolutely it. It is one of those tracks where you have to really get your strategy absolutely right and make it work for you. And one of the things we haven't mentioned, because we haven't really seen it much, of course, because it's been under caution, but pit entry here at Homestead can be quite a hard one, can't it?
Oh, under caution, it's fine. When you're under green flag conditions, though, yeah, it's hard to get it pulled up, and you got to sort of stay on the track as long as you can. But as you see, there's a lot of cars out there as well, so you don't want to balk anyone and end up getting turned yourself. And yeah, it is hard to get the nose pulled up down into that tight pit lane.
Yeah, and we've seen a few cars in the past go into the tyre barrier there at the pit lane, and race is over. It's a very easy mistake to make. Of course, here it's one of the trickier pit lanes to enter, and especially because there's quite a high camber on that corner as well, and that can really just chuck you off a little bit.
Yeah, and it's not a wide entry either, too. I've been caught out by following a car in front of me, actually clipping the water barrels on the pit wall fence, and pretty much taking me out of the race. So it is tight as well, especially when you're backed up right behind these other cars in front of you. You basically follow the leader through there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one sometimes. It's not everyone's favourite track as well, is it, Homestead?
No, but it is one of mine. I usually go right here. Speaking of, where is Norman Clark tonight? Is he with us? I haven't seen him tonight. So, unfortunately, we obviously missed this race. Maybe didn't have the budget to get all the way down here from Daytona. Might be just sipping margaritas on Daytona Beach.
Yeah, and who can blame him? Getting a couple of nice margaritas on the beach. Probably enjoying the broadcast as we speak as well. So hopefully we'll see you back soon, Norman. It's always a pleasure to have you out there.
Absolutely, Anzcar regular and great racer as well.
Yeah, very much so. One of the more experienced drivers out there, but he is just absolute brilliant bloke as well. But speaking of experience, you've got this experienced pair of Josh Mickelmore and Jason Martin at the front, with Chris Purnell and Edward Foster behind them. That's quite a juicy looking top four right there. Sitting out of it is Jason Hardigan and Danny G as well. So we've got a lot of talented drivers right there at the top. Neil Pearson in 7th as well. He's worked his way back up there after that mistake in pit lane. Michael Scurlock and Andrew Dyson in 8th and 9th. And then Aaron Dillon in 10th. But a lot of the experienced drivers right at the top now.
Yeah, certainly. And with those sort of drivers around you, it's easy to fall into the trap of just trying to race too hard. So you can sort of force someone into racing you too hard and make them go harder than they want to, and use up those tyres because, yeah, they're all well accomplished up there, and you don't want to sort of let them get away too much. So you tend to go with them.
Yeah, that's one of the big things as well on a track like this, is sometimes you run your own race rather than racing everybody around you, and it can actually come to you towards the latter stages when you don't push those tyres too hard. Yeah,
it's all about a rhythm. You just got to get in the rhythm. You don't need to fight. If you lose 5 spots just stick to your rhythm, and you will make that back up eventually.
As the pace car lights have gone out once more here at Homestead Miami, here for the Anzcar Abruzzi Cup, here on the SimShed network. Pace car has come in, and Josh Mickelmore is going to lead away as it goes green again on lap 41 of the Homestead Oval race here for Abruzzi Anzcar Cup.
And another perfect start for those Mitch cars, so they're coordinated at the front. They're allowed to do it, and that's they'd be silly not to.
That's the thing, but we know Mitch Motorsport quite well, and we know those guys like to race each other as well. They work well as teammates, but they also like to beat each other as well. They're all for getting to the end and then racing each other. So it's going to be a juicy one as they get up there, and it's always nice to see just how well they work as a team as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a 920 per hour looks race. He sort of puts the nose out, has a look down the inside. Thinks better of it. Pretty early on this race still to be making too many dive bombs down there, so he's just going to work away on the back of the 21 and just pick where he's strongest and find where the 21 is a bit weak and try and make a move.
Yeah, almost doing those sort of probing attacks at the moment, just seeing where those guys are sitting, what line they're using, and then working out the attack plan after he's got his little strategy sort of sorted out right now. And that can be a good way of doing it as well, because when you're constantly attacking, of course, you're going to put more pressure onto those tyres. You're going to make things a bit harder for yourself towards the end of the stint, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. And as you watch here, you'll see Jason's still using that shallow line on exit, and Chris is a bit higher up the track, so there's about a lane up, a car width up. So and he is getting the run. Don't mind a bit of draft down the back straight as well, but Chris is definitely exiting a bit higher.
Yeah, he's just trying to get that little bit of a better run out of the corner, try to get a little bit more speed. And it's all about different driving styles as well, of course, because everybody does drive a little bit differently, and they have their own little nuances. Oh, and just a bit further back, we've got another little incident between Lachlan Urquio and big incident towards the back.
Kate Donnelly's wrecked in the Trulictra here, is involved. They're all wrecking in the turn 1 and 2 here. Big one, big wreck here, boys.
Huge crash there, and got to say, Lachlan Urquio there holding his line. Kate Donnelly coming down a little bit, possibly just going into Urquio there, and that has spun Kate Donnell around, and then a big incident there as he tried to hold it, but unfortunately the back end of Urquio just hit Donnelly on the front of the car and then spun him up into the fence there, and that has taken out a lot of vehicles.
Yeah, the 777 there, Dwayne Priest, I believe that as well. He nearly snuck through there, but couldn't get it pulled up on the grass there. I see Stephen Williams was involved. I think he may have got out of it. Excuse me, but yeah, not ideal.
No, not at all. And I think Luke Trahir as well, having some big damage from that.
Yeah, that'd be
too.
Not done for Luke Trahir, I'd imagine. That was a hard hit into that fence. Yeah, look there, he's smoking, crabbing down the back straight. So he's off to put her on a truck, unfortunately. Yeah,
big shame for Luke Trahir. We've seen some good turns of speed from him, but he's not had the best of luck this season so far.
Yeah, it might need a wheel alignment, that thing. Have a look at it.
I don't think it's going to pass the inspection.
It's given up, and he's given up on the ghost. And as Hardigan dives into the pit here, as you see in the background there. So a couple of guys choosing to take some service.
Yeah, a couple of people definitely thinking to get that. I was just wondering there, it almost looked like Hartigan was sort of thinking twice for a moment there as he came in. He was watching everybody else, and there was the feigning, but no, Hartigan looks like he was pretty much set on coming into pit lane this time on lap 47. He's going to have those nice fresh tyres now, of course.
Yeah, not a bad idea to just get yourself off the same strategy as the rest of the field, because it may fall in your favour later on, or it may not. So it will go one way or the other.
Well, that's it. It's a bit of a roll of the dice sometimes, isn't it? But it can, if it works out well for you, then it works out incredibly well. Unfortunately, if you get caught up in a big incident like we saw a little bit earlier on, then being at the back of the pack is not necessarily the best place to be.
No, that's right. So if he's taking tyres, he will have speed and he'll have to come through the field, because most of the field did stay out.
Yeah, so they're going to end up towards the back end of the pack, which makes things a little bit trickier sometimes. But again, sometimes being a little bit further towards the back.
Matt Hunter gets a lucky dog by the look of it, just passing leaders on the outside there, gets one of those laps back.
Yeah, that's going to be helpful for him as well. Quite a few cars are sort of looking very battered out there, unfortunately. Now there's quite a bit of damage throughout the field. But obviously, with 42 cars taking the start here tonight, it can be very, very difficult, can't it?
Yeah, definitely. And looks like most of the cars that have got into incidents are still just trucking on here. Like you see, Riley Curtis got cut up early. He's 13 laps down. Matt Hunter's 12. He just got that one back. Hamish is 29 laps down. I think he's behind the wall. Justin's behind the wall. And Philip Howard's behind the wall as well.
Yeah, I think there are a few there. And it's always a shame to be taken out of the race, and never fun to be taken out early in a race, of course, because you do want to have a good race out there. But unfortunately, as is racing, sometimes it can be a cruel mistress, can't it?
Yeah, that's the nature of the beast, mate. Sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield.
That is a good analogy there. So up the front, Josh Mickelmore still leads with Jason Martin, Chris Purnell, Edward Foster, Danny G in 5th, Neil Pearson 6th, Andrew Dyson in 7th. Good run from Andrew Dyson tonight. Michael Scurlock in 8th. 9th place, we have Aaron Dillon, and Scott Griffith is there in 10th. Scott Griffith's one of those drivers to look out for as well. We've seen some really good results for Scott in the ARCA series, and some incredibly close racing from him as well.
Yeah, that's good to know, because you're one of those ARCA drivers who I hear got a top 5 finish as well on Tuesday night, is it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, 4th place actually. So yeah, I'll just go with that.
Look out for Carl, guys. He's coming.
Second P4 of the year this season in the Anzcar series. So I'm not unhappy about that one. But of course, now everybody is going to say I'm not going to stop mentioning it.
That's it, mate. It's going for the championship, boys. Watch out, Lockie.
But yeah, it has been interesting in that developmental series. And as I say, Scott Griffith's one of those drivers to keep an eye out for, because we've seen some incredible pace on short tracks from him, and some very close racing. So we've seen him up there, and one of those new drivers to keep a good eye out for.
Yeah, definitely. There's a few here that I'm not too familiar with, but showing good pace, though. So it's always good to see. Nice and healthy for the league.
That's it. And it's always good to see some of those newer drivers setting those good paces and having good races as well, because it can be one of those things where, you know, obviously you don't want to have the league stagnate. You want new people coming in. You want that fresh blood coming in. And we have had some incredible fresh blood in the past year or two.
Yeah, absolutely. As the boys are about to take the green flag here, lap 50, and we're going to get this race back going again. As Josh Mickelmore makes a good jump there. A bit slower off this time for Jason Martin, but he should slot down into behind his teammate there, with Purnell and Denny G fighting at the 53 of Edward Foster into turn 2.
Yeah, you've got to say that front pack is looking very strong at the moment, but Foster just dropping back a little bit towards the grass of Pearson. Yeah,
sorry, not Barry. Neil Pearson is making a move back up the field as well, recovering. So he's taking advantage of this safety car as Edward fights back on the outside, remembering that he will have that extra speed coming off the top of the track there and a bit of momentum.
Yeah, good drive from him. Josh Mickelmore absolutely running away at the moment. As you see, Danny G coming down and just blocking that advance of Neil Pearson there. Just moving that car in just to sort of block him in a little bit. He's caught between Foster and Danny G at the moment. Bit of a rock and a hard place to be in.
Yeah,
keep on the inside.
Yeah, this is a good battle here. Denny G being defensive. He goes down his side. Edward Foster, Nelly bangs doors with the 9 down the back straight. So Denny G just not being aggressively defensive, but just running half a car width to the inside as Edward makes a run outside. It's going to be, oh, geez, that's tight. There was nothing in that. I thought they were actually going to make contact, and Edward gets away with it, and looking to round up the 24 of Denny G at the same time.
As they come up to one of the lapped cars there. You know, and that's one of the other things as well you have to sort of really it can be a tricky thing to work yourself around, is when you're fighting in a battle like that between Pearson, Danny G and Foster. When you come up to a car that's a little bit slower and a little bit out of position, it can really throw you off. Danny G's managed to hold it there. I think that was Matt Hunter there just jumping out the way there, but that's given Pearson the run on Foster. Pearson's going to have the run on Foster into turn 1 here. Makes the move stick. Nice move by Neil Pearson there.
Yeah, so those two cars getting very close down the front straight and back straight. So not afraid to use the doors if they have to, but no contact as yet. So nice and professional, nice and clean.
And up at the front, Chris Purnell's managed to jump Jason Martin. So Chris Purnell's managed to slot himself into P2 behind Josh Mickelmore now. So he's got a good little gap between himself and Martin. Josh Mickelmore's got about a half-second gap to to Chris Purnell, so he's got a good little bit of a lead. There is a fast-charging Neil Pearson coming up now as he's battling.
Archkin's on the new tyres, he must be, because he's flying through the field right now. Just put him on the 53. He's already passed another 2 cars since then, so he's flying up the field at the moment. So I'd say he's got a bit fresher tyres as he gets close to Pearson down the back straight. Looks to go up the inside of the 24 now, and he has someone for company, which is Jake Maloney.
Yeah, I was about to say Jake Maloney there. I was keeping an eye on Hartigan a little bit earlier on because I saw him flying up the field, but he has really done a good job to keep there. As I think Aidan Schultz has had a moment.
Fence there. You could hear him on the open channel there. But
he had a moment across the start-finish line, so he's gone up into turn 4. He was next to the 23, and he's just gone up, and he's lost the rear end. Oh, I think he may have lost the engine, actually. He's lost the engine, so it looks like Pearson's engine went, and he's ended up on the start-finish line there, unfortunately, with a dead car, and just had to really get out of everybody's way and wait for everybody to pass until he could actually jump out of the vehicle, but we have remained green.
Yeah, that was a good job getting on the radio and just alerting all the drivers to be able to clear him without any further incident, and gets it off the track, and we stay green.
Yeah, really good situational awareness there by him and the other drivers around him. And, you know, that's one of the other things as well, is if you are having a situation like that, you've got to really let everybody around you know what's going on. But up the front, we have Jason Hartigan fast charging now. He is right behind Josh Micklemore with Jake Maloney there. We see Hartigan go down to the inside, make the move stick. You see Maloney there as well, taking the inside and getting past Josh Micklemore. For the first time tonight, we have a non-Mitch Motorsport car leader.
Absolutely. So 51 to the point, new race leader, but within a tyre advantage. So there's no point even fighting those Mitch cars. The drivers like Purnell and Edward and those guys, they just let these guys run away with it because you've got no chance. So let them go and fight them a bit later on when you need to. Yeah,
that's it from now on. It's that big sort of taking advantage of those tyres while the sun is shining still and using that pace to your advantage. That's the big thing for you right now. And of course, you now have to think a little bit about the sort of undercut and overcut situation. We do sometimes see the undercut being very powerful on these tracks, which is where you come in early and get those fresh tyres, like Jason Hartigan and Jake Maloney right now. But the overcut can work out just as well if it remains green, of course.
Yeah, definitely. And you can remember I was talking about the 51 under the caution, saying he's got to come through the field. So he's done that now. So if I'm the 51 and the 29, I would just be backing off. There's no need to stretch this lead out because there's probably going to be another caution. Look up those tyres because you're going to have to need them on the vehicle for a long time. And you just run this thing out in your own sort of pace, basically.
Yeah, that's it. It's almost like you've got to start racing to a pace rather than racing to what you can, of course. And it was what we were saying before as well, a little bit of almost running your own race. Sometimes you can run a bit too hard and overcook those tyres too quickly, and then you run into a lot of trouble later on in the race.
Absolutely, and we were riding on board. And we got to play. Just going to say Lockie's up into 4th here, but there's a caution. We're just going to have a look at the replay and see what happened here. Didn't catch anything on our screens. So we go back to the replay. We've got the 104, Christopher Finley, down on the infield track. Whether that's brought out the caution or not, I'm not sure, but it's definitely looks like it's lights out for the 104 tonight.
And this is exactly what Jason Hartigan and Jake Maloney did not want to see, is a caution coming out right about now.
Yes and no. Depends. It depends on what the field does. So remember, they're on different strategies. So if they looked after the tyres just enough, as I said, you don't want to get too far out because you're just wasting it. Because if another caution comes out, it takes any advantage you had away. So basically, you want to get to the front, stay out of trouble, and then just run your own race, look up those tyres. So let's see what the field does here, see if they come down this time or they are going to save us. I'm going to say 50-50 here. I reckon half the field will come, half the field will stay.
I'm going to say the majority of people from Josh Micklemore onwards come in. I'm going to say Hartigan and Maloney are going to stay out because those guys have already pitted a couple of times tonight. Josh Micklemore, Chris Purnell, all those guys haven't stopped yet. So they're going to come in, get those fresh tyres. Jake Maloney actually coming in. Be interesting to see what he does with that stop because he's coming. This is his 4th time through the pit lane. So he might be starting to hurt a little bit on tyres. If he doesn't know that there's a tyre limit, he's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, interesting there. But yeah, as a majority of the field comes, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 cars that did stay out. One of them being Lachlan New and Hardikin as well, the leader. So yeah, not sure what the goes with the 29 of Jake Maloney, whether he is actually taking tyres or just fueling up and getting onto a fuel strategy here. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out for him.
Yeah, just watching Maloney there in the pit lane, looks like he only took fuel, so he didn't worry about tyres, just took some fuel and is coming back out because I think he might be getting towards the stages of not having too many tyres to play around with, unfortunately.
Well, that's it. And then I guess to an extent, most of the fuel came there, so it takes the fuel factor out. So he's still going to have all right tyres, and he's going to be on the same fuel numbers as the other guys as well without having to take tyres.
Yeah, that's it. It's sort of it's almost like a little bit of a change of strategy, but just adding a little bit more variability into it.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a few cars up the front here, like the 40, so they will end up dropping back to the back of the field. So he's been a bit of a pest on the back bumper of the 42 there. I'm not sure if that's intended or a bit of fun, but he has been right up behind the 42 there.
Yeah, of course, Kay Donlin, Lachlan Oakley are having that contact earlier on. I think they're just sort of going, look, I'm here, don't you forget about me.
Very good. That might be that then, yeah, because he's been riding that rear bumper of the 42. Not hitting him, but there's no need to be there. He was there, so there might be just a little bit of something in that.
Yeah, that's it. And you can see him dropping off now. Up the front, though, we've got Gary Wellman back up there, and that's worked out well for him, getting him back up into the sort of top area with Aaron Dillon, Jake Maloney, Raymond Yeager as well. Raymond Yeager actually having a good run up there too, making a lot of positions as well. So Raymond Yeager up 16 positions. We've got Paul Jackson and Gary Wellman. Gary Wellman making 32 positions, Paul Jackson making 34 positions. Paul Jackson there in 8th place.
So it's very jumbled up there. So you got Wellman, Dillon, the likes of sorry, not Maloney, but Jaeger's jumped up there. So Paul Jackson, a few of those guys I reckon must have taken maybe only 2 tyres. So they're another mixed strategy here. So obviously, as it's been said all night, we'll see how it plays out for those guys.
Yeah, just looking through my my little bits of information here, it looks like Aaron Dillon and Gary Wellman have both stayed out for a fair bit, so they've not made many stops at all.
Yeah, so watch if they've been out on those tyres, so watch just for a bit of wheel spin on these restarts as well, because yeah, that can cause havoc, and we've seen it in the past. It can wreck a whole entire field just about.
And Jason Hardigan is not a slouch at restarts. He's not a slouch at short tracks either. He is one of those drivers that is he's been performing well on the ovals. A road course specialist, of course, but he has been doing very well on these short tracks, and restarts he tends to be pretty good at. So we'll have him and Lachlan Urquio. We said don't count out Lachlan Urquio as we saw him going around, and he's back up there in 2nd place already.
Yeah, that's what Lockie does. So, yeah, I've got no issues. Oh, did you see the Aaron Dillon there? Just, I don't know what he's doing to Willman, right? Just checking the grip level, but he got crossed up on his little, maybe a practice start. But the 51 to 42 shouldn't have a trouble. They've only been out there for maybe 10 laps maximum. So they should have plenty of grip still available. But those 2 cars behind, keep an eye on those guys on the restart.
17 laps they've been out there for, so almost there. But yeah, they should have some relatively good grip. The guys behind them might struggle a little bit more, though. They are on much older tyres. As we come around, the pace car is going to come into the pit lane, and we'll go back to green flag racing as Jason Hardigan leads away for the Natari Autosport team. Gets a good jump on the start there. Lachlan Oakley just bogging off a little bit. That's giving Gary Wellman the opportunity to get underneath Lachlan there. So we're going to see Gary Wellman going into the first corner on the inside line, but Jason Hardigan is running away like a scalded dog at the moment.
Yeah, great start from the 51 there. The 42 should start to gather some momentum as you see Jake Maloney actually on those same old tyres, just fuel only, moving up the ends. Oh, they're going to turn. Lockie's been turned again down the back straight here. He makes the 2-360. We stay green. He holds it up. He gets it pulled up on the apron down there. He got turned. We're going to drop back to a replay of the simstat.com. But, yeah, not ideal. Again down the back straight. So if we have a look down here, we've got Aaron Dillon behind him. I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know if Aaron Dillon maybe thought he was clear. He's moved straight up into the 42 and hooked him.
Yeah, just hooked him round there, and just in front, lucky not to take out the 29 there, but Lockie just managed to keep that car, and it's remained green for the race. But that was a big moment. That could have been a huge crash there.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's got away with it twice now tonight, and I don't imagine the 42 will be very happy with that and how that transport as well. So there might be more to come there.
Yeah, that's it. I think there's going to be some words about that one coming along later down the field. But Josh Mickelmore now just running his way back up there. He's on those nice fresh tyres, of course. And now Jason Hardigan is going to have the issue of somebody on much fresher tyres coming up to him now. How well will he have kept those tyres from before? Of course, you do see a bit of a plateau of tyres, but you're going to see Josh Mickelmore having a much faster car right now.
Yeah, definitely. All fresh tyres will always win out here for now. But they're steaming up. He's dragging the 920 of Chris Purnell with him as well.
Yeah, Purnell is right on the back of him, as well as Neil Pearson as well, is charging his way through, just getting past Danny G as well. So Pearson is sort of used Gary Wellman a little bit as a block there to get past Danny G. Nice move by Pearson, and he's going to start closing up. But up the front, you can see right now, Josh Mickelmore is taking back the lead. Jason Hardigan on the outside, running a bit high there. That's going to push him out, and that's going to give Neil Pearson the chance to get a good run on him now. Having that fresh tyre, having that a little bit more traction down the straights as well, should give Pearson the chance to get a bit of a leapfrog here.
Yeah, as you're riding on board with the 31 there, all clear views out front right now for him. Pearson making that move now on the 51 of Hardigan, gets the job done. Fairly easy. Tyres will do that, and continues his run back up through the field. And it's all clear views out the front of the 31 on as we ride on board with Josh Mickelmore in the Mitch Motorsports Camaro.
Yeah, he's got a nice clean view right now, some clean air, nothing to run behind as we cross the line for lap 70 of 130. Josh Mickelmore in the lead with Chris Purnell in second. Also running up the field, we have Edward Foster just getting past, just coming up towards Jason Martin and Jason Hardigan as well. He's chasing back towards that top pack too. Jake Maloney, of course, he came in for the fuel stop, so he's not changed tyres. He's on those slightly older tyres, but he's still up there in the top 10 for the moment. But there are a lot of cars on fresh tyres around him. Yeah,
as Ed Foster makes a move on his previous teammate Jason Hardigan down the front straight, and he has the 041 of Andrew Dyson behind him as well, coming with him. Yeah, and we're only just over halfway here, and we've seen plenty of action tonight, so it's going to be a pretty gripping second half of this race.
It is indeed. It's been an action-packed one so far. It's one of those races where, you know, there's been so much action in the first half, you forget that there's a second half to the race. But we've still got a long way to go here. Another driver working his way up the pack with a bit of a damaged car is Michael Scurlock. He's coming all the way back again. He's just coming past. Gary Wellman now, so he's up in the top 10 again. Scurlock with that. Again, a very second-hand looking Crank Esport car, but up the front, Josh Mickelmore has got a fast-charging Chris Purnell on his tails. Chris Purnell goes down to the inside, tries to make a move. Very close there. Josh Mickelmore having to lift off a little bit. Otherwise, we would have seen a car going around, but very close racing between those two. He's going to have that outside line, should get slightly better traction off here. Will he be able to keep the car up there? That's the question.
Yeah, the 920 is doing a good job. He got a lot far alongside him there. As they nearly made contact in there, Josh has just bobbled a little bit in that mid-turn, which sends him just up the track lane, and the 920 takes the point of this race now into the lead.
Chris Purnell getting back into the lead of a cup race there. Hard fighting between those two.
Yeah, Josh looks to come back, and he throws it back down the inside here, but Chris just got to run that same line, just hold him tight, and he'll get the run off and have that move complete by now.
Yeah, looked almost like Josh Mickelmore was just struggling a little bit on the outside. Just almost like there was just a little bit of a little bit of a grip drop off just as he was going mid corner there, because it just didn't look too comfortable running so close to Chris Purnell there. And that's one of the other things, of course, is, you know, when the car is starting to get towards this end of the race, you know, fresher tyres as well. Those guys are on the slightly fresher tyres. They still have to come up to the temperature, and it does throw you out a little bit. And it's quite easy to sort of just have to lift off just in case you have that moment.
Yeah, that's it. And remembering the 920 has already won this week at this race track, so looking to do the double. He won the trucks this week.
Trucks was at Las Vegas, wasn't it?
Oh, was it Las Vegas? Sorry, yeah. Sorry, that must be. Sorry, it was Vegas. Sorry, I was thinking it was here. So anyway, but he has won this week, so looking to do the double in the same week as Anzcar.
That's it. So we've got a good battle going on between Foster and Dyson at the moment as well. There is quite a few little battles going on throughout the pack at the moment, and just trying to keep an eye on what's going on is always the hardest part. Raymond Yeager, Gary Wellman as well, having a good little battle down there for 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th. Scott Griffiths as well, he's charging his way up there in the Red Bull liveried car and getting a good job on the inside. I said Scott's one of those drivers to keep an eye out for tonight. He's had some good runs on the slightly shorter tracks. This is a bit of a longer track compared to them, but he has been having some good performances out there this week.
Yeah, definitely. There's a few guys there that are having a good race, like Paul Jackson as well. It is a top 20 at the moment for Paul Jackson, but so far so good. It's clean. His nose is clean. He's got a fast car, clean car. So as Aaron Dillon, I believe, just dropped down to go into the pit lane, he certainly did. So he's making a green flag stop. Whether that's scheduled or unscheduled, I'm not sure, but not ideal at this point in the race.
I'd say that.
We've got a car down on the apron, as you can see in the TV there. Car on the apron down the back straight. Looks like it's maybe just trying to work out who it is, but they've gone now. They've towed, and no, it's still there. It's Ryan Bull, so he's lights out for him. No, he's still running, so not sure what's going on there for Ryan in the 003, but he's down on the apron down the back straight.
Yeah. I think he's got a bit of a problem in the car, unfortunately. So he's having to pit in, and caution flag has come out.
I think it'll be for that same car because he's just turned into the racetrack down the back that the last caution came from. So for some reason, it's picking up those cautions down there, and yeah, for slow car. So it's picked up the 003 down on power, down on a lot of things actually, bumpers and everything else. And yeah, the yellow flag's out again for it's the sixth time tonight.
Yeah, 6 times tonight, Ryan Bull there. Unfortunate for him. I think he had a bit of an incident on the on one of the corners just coming into turn 1. I think he had a little bit of a moment. So unfortunate for him.
Yeah, a bit of an odd caution. There's no action on track to cause it, just a slower car. But the officials have put it out, and we're going to pack this field and compress it again, and yeah, we'll throw some strategy balls up into the air and see where they land.
Well, that's it. Now, this could be a chance for a couple of those drivers that stayed out there for a bit longer. So people like Jason Hardigan, Scurlock, people like that to come in.
The leaders. Throw the double. Throw the dummy. They all throw the dummy down there and came back out. Doesn't look like anyone's taking service. Jake Maloney, by the looks of it, I can't see from over here, but I think Jake Maloney might have come down the pit lane, and he's got a couple with him.
Maloney's come into the pit lane. So, yeah, a few drivers coming into pit lane right now. Just having a look-see through those ones. Jake Maloney, because that's how I've got to wonder if he's running a little bit low on fuel and things like, sorry, a bit low on tyres at the moment, because he's been in, this is his 5th stop, I think, tonight. So might be just getting a bit more fuel on board, but we'll see how that one runs out. But yeah, it's been a tough race out there for quite a few drivers.
Yeah, I'm glad you got those facts and figures there of pit stops. It would be handy. I don't have that with me, but yeah, I'd love to know who's got what tyres left as well, just because it's slowly starting to get into the business end of this race. So yeah, you got what you got. See what they come up with.
So at the moment, the top 6 are all on the same strategy. They've done just done 19 laps on those tyres. Then we have Andrew Dyson, Philip Worley, Michael Scurlock, who have done about 61 laps on those tyres. So yeah, those guys are starting to get towards the end of the tyre life. Towards the end of the tyre life on those wheels now.
Yeah, so they've still got a few the set or two up their sleeve. So look for the 350. That's the name that stuck out for me in that list you just read out, to possibly make a move late in this race with fresh rubber. And
while we're under caution, we might just grab up from the infield care centre Aidan Schultz quickly, just to ask what happened there with the engine. I think it was the engine towards there, so just grab him up. Aidan Schultz, welcome back to the booth. Unfortunately, we saw you dropping out of the race on the front straight there.
Yeah, definitely wasn't the way I wanted to finish the race, to be honest. Caught up in someone else's accident early, and we're doing well to be pushing the outside of the top 10, and felt like we had a good race car. So Very unfortunate to get caught up in that, and then we were in behind and it overheated and blew up. So very unfortunate for the team, and after Riley's start as well, yeah, very unfortunate. It just seems the way it's going in the last couple of weeks, but that's okay. We'll jump on next week and we'll get another go.
Motorsport sometimes can be a very cruel mistress. Just want to say well done for giving a call out towards all the drivers and managing to keep a caution not coming out on the track there when the engine blew. Because we heard it on me and Dave heard it on the radio there. You just letting everybody know that the car was in some serious trouble down there. Real shame for you, but hopefully we'll see you in the booth towards the next few races for some better things than coming up here to say something went bad with the car.
Hopefully, and that's racing, and definitely going to let everyone know where you're going. You don't want to cause a caution and wreck their race. So it happened. It's racing. I know what it's like. I commentate as well, like you guys. So all about the other drivers, and unfortunate for the team tonight. But we'll put our head up. We'll go to next week and see what we can pull out.
Thank you so much, Aidan. We'll catch you again, hopefully in better circumstances.
No worries, guys.
Aidan Schultz there, unfortunately, early retirement for the engine, but the pace car lights are out, and Chris Purnell has the lead of this race over Josh Mickelmore.
Yeah, definitely. We'll just have a look, see how many cars are actually still on this lead lap, and it looks like we have 25 cars still on the lead lap, with only, actually, the next one down is Justin Witcher is 2 laps down. So, yeah, 25 cars, still a nice juicy field here. See who's going to get this one done.
Yeah, still a lot of cars on the lead lap, and unfortunately a lot of cars that have been taken out a little bit earlier, but still a lot of cars that can win this race as the pace car is going to come in, and Chris Purnell is going to lead away as the green flag drops here for the Anzcar Abruzzi Cup here on the Simshed Network at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Good start for the 920. It's always easier to drive this track from when you're out front. When you're out front, you get yourself in a rhythm, but we're too wide back through the field here.
Yeah, those guys towards the mid-pack and back of the pack now are starting to get a bit racy as we come towards the latter stages of this race.
Jake Maloney making moves forward down to the back straight on the inside, and there's contact. There's contact. We got one going round the 45 of Gary Wellman. They save it. They save it and continue.
Jason Nichols there as well.
Yeah. He's still going.
Gary Wellman just catching somebody else there, but
going to the replay here. So Jack Maloney down the inside, 4 wide down here, Lockie on the outside, and the 2 in the middle just made contact, and then another bit of contact through the middle of the turn. Straightened him up, and good save, get back going here.
Yeah, good job of saving that car, because that was almost a disaster again there, but managed to keep the cars going straight. This is giving Chris Purnell a chance to jump a little bit into the lead. Neil Pearson just behind him has managed to get up into 2nd place past Josh Mickelmore. Jason Martin in 4th with Danny G in 5th.
Yeah, so it was a 29 Jack Maloney that actually caught my eye while I was looking down there, and because I could see him making some big moves through the field. So he's on fresh tyres. Look at him come towards the front of the track here. So he's on the inside of the 53, the champ, Edward Foster, looking to make a move down here. So he has taken those tyres, choosing now to use them. And now he's on the inside of the 24. And he gets just in there, gets a little tight, but yeah, grip always win out here. So he'll continue to march that forward up the field.
Yeah, this could be a brilliant opportunity for Jake Maloney if it remains green. Big emphasis on if it remains green there, of course, because we've seen quite a few cautions out here tonight. Unlike the truck series, actually, we had a green race all the way here at Homestead for the trucks, but so is racing sometimes. You'll either have a race where there's lots of cautions or no cautions. Yeah, it all depends on how things go out there for drivers. Yeah,
absolutely. And remembering Jake saved taking tyres, but made sure he had enough fuel on board, so kept an eye on those fuel numbers. So obviously he's comfortable with where he is, and has chosen to take those tyres now and use them up.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm just wondering, fuel-wise, he might be a little bit shy, because I was trying to figure out my fuel numbers. I think I got it wrong, but I'm unsure about that.
Yeah, whether or not it's going to get him to the end, I just mean, I guess he's on the same strategy as the rest of the field, fuel-wise. So he came down when most of the field did, but didn't take tyres because he still had those sort of half-fresh tyres on. So it might play into his favour here as he takes the lead of the race now and leads lap 87 of 130.
Yeah, watch him just absolutely streak away. He's already gained a almost a full second over Chris Purnell right now, and this is the difference between fresh tyres and old tyres. Sorry, my fuel figures were wrong in my head. He's got enough fuel to make it to the end, but it's if a caution comes out now and the rest of the field can put those fresh tyres on, of course. Jake Maloney might have fired his last bullet in his chamber by putting on those tyres because he may not have any left for the rest of the race. So if it remains green, Jake Maloney could be looking good here.
Yeah, definitely, and that's the beauty of limited tyres and a track that uses a lot of tyres. You get a bit of a mixed bag, and that's what we're going to have here. We're going to get Scurlock is going to be 3 wide almost in a DPR sandwich back here, as Paul Jackson looks to put a move on the 53 of Ed Foster going down the back straight.
Yeah, Paul Jackson getting a good run of speed there in the Camry there, and he's absolutely flying at the moment, getting past Foster. So Paul Jackson is another one of those drivers that's on the similar strategy to Foster there, but it looks like Foster's just starting to fall off the pace a little bit to some of the drivers around him. There are so many drivers on different tyre strategies now, though, and different tyre lives.
Wide up the front of Scurlock there. We got Paul Jackson and Stephen Williams making moves for this field, so they're obviously on fresher tyres as well. So they just ganged up on the Mitch cars and went either side of them and looking to get on the outside of the 31 here as Edward and Scurlock are going to battle here in turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, they just absolutely mugged Jason Martin and Danny G there, getting through. Great overtaking there by Stephen Williams and Paul Jackson getting up there. And Neil Pearson's now got his teammate behind him, Stephen Williams. Stephen Williams on those slightly fresher tyres, of course. So he's going to breeze past Neil Pearson, I'd say, without too much trouble as he starts to make a chase to Jake Maloney.
Yeah, so, yeah, tyre strategies are good here. So obviously the 53 is just struggling a bit there. The 83 we haven't spoken much of. Matty Raymond, you can see him there with the front orange end there. He must have a bit of fresher tyre because he's looking to put a move on the 350 of Michael Scurlock now as well.
Yeah, he's got the tyre like over Michael Scurlock, I believe. Michael Scurlock stayed out there for quite a long time. I think he's sort of hoping towards... he's hoping for a caution to come out soon because his tyres are going to start dropping off the edge of the cliff, I believe, relatively shortly. Same with Andrew Dyson as well. He's going to start struggling out there as well for tyres.
Yeah, well, that's it. If you can survive and just stay on the lead lap and just keep having those tyres, as long as you stay on the lead lap, you might get a flurry of cautions here, and you've got a whole stack of fresh tyres towards the end of this race. So, yeah, interesting. You can play it either way here.
Well, as we've said a few times, and I've said it often, it's like playing chess at a couple of 100 kilometers per hour. Sometimes you have to make those strategy calls. As Paul Jackson. Yeah, Paul Jackson is making a move on Neil Pearson right now. He's going to get underneath him and get chasing down Chris Purnell. Steve Williams is out past Purnell now, and he's chasing down Maloney. Those last laps, Stephen Williams was about 1/10 faster than Jake Maloney. So those guys are going to have to start chasing him down now, but Jake Maloney has such a good lead. He's got about a 5-second lead over Stephen Williams.
Yeah, as I said, now you don't want to go too far ahead of yourself here, just in case you get another caution. Otherwise, you just wasted a bit of extra tyre you probably didn't need to waste. So you want to get yourself into a bit of a rhythm here now for the 98. And Paul Jackson, who just gets past the 920 of Purnell. Get yourself in a rhythm now and run your own race for now. And just try and conserve those tyres a bit.
Yeah, Paul Jackson having an absolute brilliant race there. He's definitely the driver with the most passes tonight. He's made 39 positions so far, starting down in 42nd place, Paul Jackson. He probably would have been groaning a little bit at that qualifying position, but when you're getting towards the end of a race and you're in 3rd place, it's not always a bad feeling.
Yeah, look, I tell you what, and we are getting down to the end of the race here, so we've only got 35 laps more to run here. So if this stays green, a couple of people might be kicking themselves on the foot, but these guys have played their card perfectly. But that is a big if, though, because yeah, we had to have 6 or 7 cautions tonight, and don't count out getting another one before the end of this one.
No, that said, it's very easy for things to go wrong. One of the things I have noticed is the track temperature has dropped a little bit since the start of the race. I think it was around about 35 degrees at the start, and it's dropped down to around about 31, 30 degrees now. So that's going to help the tyres a little bit, extend their lives a little bit, of course, because hot tracks and the hot tyres don't mix well together. Yeah,
no, it'll help a little bit with the wear, but it will tighten the carper as well, so it will make passing a bit more difficult the cooler the track gets. So it'll just tighten that carper a bit more.
And that's the other big thing, of course, when you are racing in a long race like this. 130 laps on in cars of this style, you do feel a lot of the track changes. The track is always changing as well because it is a constantly changing track, and it changes temperature. Of course, the rubber changes on the track surface. There's always changing going on, and you have to drive your driving style around that as well, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's easy to overdrive. So you've got to, just work the throttle. Mid-turn, you let it roll. You've got to back your corners up a bit more. Back out of the throttle, just roll in and roll center, and slowly ease on through the exit because the turns are pretty much even here. But you do use a little bit more throttle on the exit of turn 4 here.
Yeah, that's it. And it's all about that throttle management. You always got to press it down like you've got a sort of egg underneath it, isn't it? Just don't want to do too much to it. As Andrew Dyson and Nigel.
I think it's Tristan Cock in the 550 there, getting nice and snug out of turn 4 there as the 51 looks to the inside of the 39 of Scott Griffin's.
Yeah, that was very close there. You could tell by the sharp intake of breath by both commentators there that we saw that one. You can always tell when they get close because we do take a deep breath of there, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And you got Matty Raymond on the outside of Gary Wellman now. Still slowly working his way through on the outside. With the outside of Denny G, as we got the Tristan Koch is still side by side with the 042. I think that's 041. Yeah.
Yeah, the 041. Tristan Koch having a good run up there as
looks like he's getting ganged up on a bit at the moment with the DPR cars though. So he's fighting for what he's got left and having a good run.
Yeah, Scott Griffiths joining the action as well now. So they are really battling in that mid pack area. A little bit further up, we've got Danny G, Matthew Raymond, and Josh Micklemore, as well as the 35 of Gary Wellman having a good run back up the field. Gary Wellman, that's one of those other cars that came in for. Did he come in for a stop? I'm just wondering actually, because he might be on slightly older tyres.
Not sure. Either way, if he hasn't, he's looked after him pretty well. But we've just ticked over lap 100, so less than 30 laps to run on this one, and we're still green. So this one's going to get interesting, I reckon.
Looking good at the moment, you've got to say, for Jake Maloney. He's still got a 4.7 second lead over Stephen Williams. Stephen Williams hasn't really been able to press the time into there and catch up. Neither has Paul Jackson on Stephen Williams. So they're sort of sitting currently around about 4 seconds behind Jake Maloney, and Paul Jackson is around about 2 seconds behind Stephen Williams.
Yeah, definitely. But you can't count out another caution here. It doesn't take much. We've seen Lockie have his troubles tonight. Really no fault of his own. He's been hooked twice tonight, I believe. But anything can happen in these last couple of laps or last 30 laps. Yeah,
that's it. It's motorsport. Anything can happen, and it usually does. Speaking of Lachlan Urquhart, he's down there battling with Devon Stove for 21st and 22nd at the moment. Jason Hardigan just ahead of him in 19th position, unable to get back up to the front on with all the tyre changing and the strategy changes as those cautions came out. A little bit further up, we've got Jason Martin, Danny G, and Edward Foster battling for 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Yeah, it's not the normal places you'd expect them to be battling for as well. You've got the 350 in behind him, who's had a quiet night, but he does have damage. So the damage does take effect on that tyre wear, and the right front is the worst one to damage of all tracks.
Yeah, that's it. The change of aero and the push on the tyres and little bits of bodywork touching them.
Seem to be slowing each other down here, possibly, because the 350 and the 90 of Patton just caught onto the back of these pretty quickly. So good little battle pack here. We could see some passing going on.
Yeah, that's it. Those guys are all on a lot of different strategies at the moment, from what I can see. So it's a bit of a mix-mash of what you're wanting to go for. And one thing you got to say though, they're not looking comfortable for the POH drivers. They are just sliding around a little bit. Foster, I've got to say, is looking a little bit, just struggling a little bit with the car, just losing a little bit of lateral traction through the corners. Yeah,
and the 350, as you can see, getting very tight on that door. Driver's door of the 53 there, not much room left there at all, and he will get that pass though. But these two are very clean races, so they probably welcome a bit of door-to-door action.
Yeah, they are battling with each other in the race and in the championship as well, of course. Scurlock up there currently in the lead of the championship for the Anzcar Abruzzi Cup. So he is trying to mitigate the point loss from this race now. And that's the other thing as well, because you've got a whole season ahead of you right now.
Yeah, that's right. We're right on board with the defending champ. Looking to try and... I don't think he can try and do much with the Mitch cars at the moment. He's probably more just conserving right now. If the opportunity appears, he'll take it, I'd say. But right now, probably not too much to race with.
No, it's looking like it's getting a bit trickier and trickier out there as we hit lap 107 now. Definitely coming towards the end of this race as we go. And we got a good move here on... Just look through the field, sorry. Got a couple of cars looking like they're coming into the pit lane, actually. So a couple of people coming into pit lane as we speak. Reese May coming in. So I think we might see a couple of people having to make some green flag stops here.
Now, I know Reese May did get into trouble earlier tonight. Is he still on the lead lap? He's one lap down, but that could be now because of the stop. So it looks like he possibly was on the lead lap. So he's going to throw something here and just try and roll the dice here and see if he can't make something happen.
Well, that said, of course, if the caution comes out, then you get the wave around as well. You do get the lucky dog, so it can take effect. I think also coming into pit lane, I think I saw Matt Hunter coming in. But
21 goes up the inside, almost drifts up into his teammate in the 24 there, and the 53 Edward Foster had to check up hard not to get into the back of the 21, but as I said, it does get tight as it cools out. These tyres are getting worn, so it does make it a lot harder to pass. So the 21's still on the inside of the 24, just trying to get clear, and not clear yet, so he still hasn't got that job done, but he should get on the exit. He's clear now, so he should be able to move up in front of the 24.
Yeah, great battle going on there for 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. But it's not the usual place we expect to see these guys. I mean, they're always up in the sort of higher ends of the field, and top 10 is one of the harder places to run in oval racing, but not fighting for the lead at the moment, those guys.
No, absolutely not, and a lot of it's to do with the tyre strategy, and I welcome that. You love a bit of a mixed-up field, so you get a couple of guys who you don't expect to be at the front, like Gary Wellman, running 8th at the moment. Got Matt Raymond in 7th, doing a good job. And Paul Jackson having a great race, actually, in the 2-3-1. So we haven't talked much about Paul Jackson too much tonight, but in position 3 at the moment and doing a great job out in front of those guys.
He is, and talking about the lead, that has started to close now. Stephen Williams is closing on Jake Maloney as we talk. So the leader is coming down a little bit.
Aiden Schultz is down on the apron again. He's about to pull the car up, and he brings the caution out.
Caution.
There it is. I was just talking about the cars down the bottom there. So Aiden didn't take me on the wall, continued to go, but obviously not sure when it ended up needing to go below the line there, and brings out a caution here for it's sort of killed the race, as you said, was building up to a bit of a race between Stephen Williams and Jake Maloney there, possibly.
It was. He just came over the radio to apologise for that one. Didn't think the caution would come out, but we've seen it a few times tonight where if you get to that far infield, the caution flag does fly, and this is what Jake Maloney, Stephen Williams, Paul Jackson didn't want to see. Right, Reese May as well, just absolutely devastated by that, because his strategy required that to last a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think there'll be a few of them here. We've got to keep an eye on these guys. Come down the pit lane to see if any of these front cars have got tyres left, especially Jake Maloney, to see if they've got anything in the bank still. If not, it could be a hard last couple of laps here for those guys as Jake comes down pit lane, and the rest of the field should follow him, basically.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do here, because Stephen Williams, Jake Maloney and Paul Jackson have come in a few times already. Paul Jackson has got some tyres left by the looks of it. This is his...
So that's if he's got tyres left. If he's got 4, he's played himself well in there. We'll just keep an eye on Jake as he pulls up on his marks here, hits the marks a bit slower in. He goes up and he goes right side. So we'll see if he takes left as well. I'd imagine he's got a set left there possibly. So those guys have played themselves into this race. And Jake Maloney definitely has all 4 tyres, and so does Paul Jackson.
Yeah, that's it. They sort of... with that one, can you use your older tyre sets, or are they thrown out afterwards?
I don't think you can recycle them. In real life, you can, but in game, unfortunately, I believe once you've used them, that's it. You're done. But looks like a few of them had a fair few tyres left in there. So a couple good strategy plays here, and Jake Maloney still holds on to that lead. So no harm, no foul. He's played his cards perfectly here so far.
Yeah, that's it. Jake Maloney, he's had 7 stops so far tonight, and with fresh tyres still in his pocket, that's played out perfectly for him. Stephen Williams as well looked to have some fresh tyres as well, so this is going to work out very well for them. Chris Purnell has managed to get up into 3rd place, Paul Jackson in 4th at the moment, so he's worked his way up there nicely. But it's going to be interesting now. It's pretty much a sprint race now for the next 17 laps, or 16 laps pretty much. So it's going to be a sprint race now to the end of it.
That's right. So those guys have played the game perfectly, got themselves into a position, used them when they needed to, and they got that track position now. So basically they will have nothing left now. There might be a couple of sets left up their sleeve here, just in case we do get a caution over the next. We've got 17 to go. So don't count another caution. If it goes green and we get a green white checker, someone might just bolt on a set of greens and bolt through the field here.
Yeah, that's it. It's still not towards. It's still a lot of racing to go here. It's definitely not over by a long shot.
That's exactly right, and you can see that you know the speed difference between new tyres and old tyres. So 17 laps is a lot of tyres, and then you chuck a green set on, you'll still have superior pace over those other guys.
That's it. And just hearing in the chat as well, Brad Allison just saying, yeah, that caution has taken a nail-biting finish of the race away from us, and I completely agree, but it has thrown in this crazy sprint now to the end, so a very different style of racing. It was looking, I think Stephen Williams was looking the best out there if it had remained green, but of course, ifs are one of those things that in motorsport, you can always say if, and it's never going to get you anything. So yeah. Hindsight is 2020.
Absolutely, and we need to keep an eye on this 920 of Chris Purnell. So prior to the jumbled up tyre strategy, he was the fastest car out there. So he's in a nice position right now, sitting right behind the leader. So we'll get a good jump on the start if he's not caught sleeping. So he's in the sprint lane there. He will get a jump, and let's see if he can take anything to Jake Maloney here and 98 of Stephen Williams.
Yeah, that's it. And Jake Maloney, of course, he started 2nd on the grid. So he's got some serious pace in that car. We do know that he has got the pace when he needs it. Jason Martin down in 7th position. He has also got a lot of pace in that car if he can make use of it. He has got the fastest lap of the race so far, but can he actually get into that position? Because there are a lot of fast cars around him right now.
Yeah, the action's about to ramp up. The nerves will increase, the heart rate will increase as well with it, and yeah, we're about to go back racing.
Yes, as they come round the final set of corners again, the pace car is going to drop into pit lane, and that is going to give Jake Maloney the opportunity to lead us away as the green light will fall for the Abruzzi Anzcar Cup here on SimShed Broadcasting. And away we go. Jake Maloney leads. You get a great restart there. Stephen Williams just falling back a little bit. It's giving Chris Purnell the opportunity to go underneath him. Will he have the grip as he on fresh tyres to hold that position? He does. Always just a little bit wide there, but he has held it quite well. Stephen Williams will have a good run onto the straight, but Chris Purnell's going to have the inside line again for the next corner.
Yeah, Chris, knowing that we got one. We got Paul Jackson half spin. He saves it. Oh, he gets cleaned up by. Oh, they're wrecking hard back there. There's a lot of cars involved. We're going to have another caution here. Sorry, there's a lot going on. There was cars. They're still wrecking back down in turn 4. They're still wrecking right now as we go through a replay here.
That was a big one there. Just looks like Gary Wellman and Paul Jackson just getting together, but there's a lot of cars involved in that. A lot of cars getting involved.
Separate incident there. There was a Paul Jackson incident, and then Nigel Patton got turned, I believe, in a 90 car as well. So there's 2 separate incidents there, and that's taken out a lot of cars. They were just wrecking while Jake Maloney was going into 1. I was watching him, and they were still wrecking out the back there in turn 4.
Yeah, there was a second crash up there. I think it was Barry Neal. Barry Neal as well. Barry Neal going up into Gary Wellman, I think it was, and yeah, there was a lot of action there. There was quite a lot of cars getting caught up in that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm just going to go back and just see if I can rattle off a couple of names there. who was actually involved in that, because yeah, there was a lot of smoke back there. We got Justin Witcher was involved, Devon Stove. Looks like we got Patton, as we know. Lachlan, yeah, got caught up in that one. And the 42 of Lachlan also in trouble again tonight. So yeah, a few cars got caught in that, and real shame for Paul Jackson, who's having a great run up in that top 5 there.
Yeah, indeed, and yeah, Lachlan Oakley there getting caught up in that big time. He's sitting down in the infield care centre at the moment. We'll see if we can grab him up for a quick word as we are on the caution stages of this race. Lachlan Oakley, welcome to the booth. We wish you were up here in better circumstances.
Yeah, look, I think it's just a case of some pretty average driving out there tonight. Yeah, not really where I wanted to finish the race.
No, we saw you get caught in a couple of moments in this race. Some that will you probably want to go and have a bit of a look back on and things like that, of course. But yeah, that end one was you're a bit of a passenger in that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, the last time I'd had fresh tyres against some of the guys on older, I went around the outside and it sort of hooked up quite well. So that was the plan, was just to run up on the high line and try and round up the guys on old tyres. But unfortunately, when the track is all but blocked and 2 cars ahead of you, there's not much you can do.
A real shame there. We hope you better for the next couple of races. Good work in the ARCA series as well. Just to congratulate you on that one. But hopefully the luck will follow you through into the Cup. We're also joined by Bradley Wingard. Welcome to the booth, Bradley.
Usually I'd say thanks for having me, but I'd like for it to be on better terms than now.
Absolutely, yeah. We hate having to bring you up here to have a chat mid-race. We'd rather see you out there on track. Unfortunate position for you to be in as well there. Just talk us through the incident from your sort of view perspective.
Well, I got kind of lucky that all the leaders pitted, so I was like the lead car behind the safety car, so I could catch up. And I just figured that I could try and get a run on the guy that was in front of me because I had fresher tires than him, but I saw someone go high, so I went low, and then everyone else went low, and I tried stamping on the brakes, but I ended up hitting someone else as well and blew my engine. So I was up 17th before, and I guess that's just how speedways work.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes you just get in the worst place at the worst time, and it was one of those positions. Hopefully, we'll have you up in the booth sometime this year for better circumstances. Thank you so much, Bradley. Okay, lights are out on the pace car there. We'll be going back to green as we have hit lap 120, so a 10-lap shootout now, Dave. This is going to be a bit spicy, I reckon.
Yeah, well, I said before, the nerves and the heart rate will increase. It'll only keep going up from now, and yeah, we saw it all happen down there. We didn't even get one lap of green racing there. So Jake Maloney 920 as well, and he is outside of Chris Purnell, who did make a spot up. So Stephen Williams is the odd car out. He's just dropped back in there, but now it rolls reverse here. So we'll see if Stephen Williams can get the jump this time by.
Yeah, that's it. And it seems that low line has had some good restarts to it. It seems the high line has been struggling a little bit tonight. We'll see if that continues with Chris Purnell out there. And he's going to, as I say, he's going to want to try and continue his week and the run of good fortune for the team as well. But the pace car is going to be coming in very shortly, and Jake Maloney is going to lead us away for lap 121 of this 130 lap here at Homestead Miami. And a beautiful restart from Jake Maloney. He gets it away perfectly and just slots up in front of Chris Purnell. It looked like Neil Pearson was just caught a little bit napping there.
Yeah, possibly. We've got the Denny G made a great start there, taking that 3 wide down into turn 1, making it inside. He's inside the 53, I believe, now of Everett Foster. So, yeah, there's going to be battles here. Everybody's going to have to throw everything what they got left at it and see where they end up.
They are. And, Neil Pearson just looking like he just lost a little bit of speed coming into the corner. But Chris Purnell as well was just having a little bit of a loose moment. Stephen Williams as well, just having a loose moment mid-corner there. And we've seen that a few times tonight on these colder tyres.
Yeah, so Stephen's been spat out the back there, so he's got caught on the inside, and yeah, he's lost a few spots there to the guys that have just rounded him up on the outside. So they don't give you much room now. At this point of the race, it's yeah, take what you give and give nothing back.
That's it. Jason Martin getting a good run on Neil Pearson. This time he's going to try the outside line. He's got his teammate Josh Micklemore right behind him. They're trying to put the pressure on Pearson at the moment, but we've seen Pearson is able to hold pretty well there. Jake Maloney has pulled out a lead over Chris Purnell. You've got Pearson and Martin side by side for third place at the moment. Down the inside goes Josh Micklemore as well to try and make a Mitch Motorsports sandwich out of Pearson. Pearson saw it coming, managed to position the car to block off that move. Great defending there by Neil Pearson.
That's a great dive, and he's going to have to defend here. He's going to... Oh, they reckon in the background, sorry. They reckon we got a wreck happening there. There is a car
Andrew
and into the fence.
Yeah, we've got a couple of cars there. Looks like Andrew Dyson has gone up into... Yeah, it looks like Matthew Raymond started sliding down and just tapped Andrew Dyson and got him around there. Big crash for Dyson. And, a couple of cars having a lucky escape there. Yeah, very lucky cars getting past Andrew Dyson there. But that has brought out the caution again for us tonight on lap 124.
Yeah, it's a shame. It was starting to get real dicey with those Mitch cars up the front there. But, yeah, another caution, as I said. We're going to get this thing restarted probably with about 4 laps to go, I reckon. So it's going to be on for young and old again.
Yes, it is. It's getting very tight up the top as well. And Chris Purnell's had that opportunity to start on that high line this time round. He knows how it feels out there, so hopefully he'll have a better feeling for it this time round, and we'll be able to hook right onto the back of Jake Maloney. We'll see how that goes. At the moment, you've got Jake Maloney, Chris Purnell up in the first and second place. Third is Neil Pearson with Jason Martin in fourth. Josh Micklemore in fifth with Edward Foster in sixth. Seventh is Michael Scurlock with Stephen Williams in eighth. Ninth is Danny G with Gary Wellman in 10th. Good run from Gary Wellman tonight. He's managed to get the car back up there again. And he's got Jason Hardigan behind him. So Hardigan as well, making his way back up through the field. A little bit unseen. We saw Hardigan down there in the in sort of about 20th position before all these cautions came out. He's worked his way back up there. So don't be surprised to see him working his way up the top 10 as well.
Yeah, definitely. And as you were talking there, just been... having another look at that incident on that for the last caution here. So, yeah, it looks like the 83 of Matty Raymond, the 50 when you follow a car here, you tend to just, wherever they go, you go with them. So the 51's come down in half a lane, and the 2 cars behind it basically looks like they just got an awkward contact met in the middle there. So hard to lay any blame there, but yeah, just awkward contact meeting in the middle of the track.
That's the thing is racing, unfortunately, is not always going to be clean, and you will have those little contacts here and there. And, well, as we say, and as I say many times, cautions do breed cautions as well, because the tyre pressure goes down in these periods and everything starts to feel a bit strange on the car, and it can be very hard to get those restarts working for you. The first couple of laps are always the dicey ones.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know if we've seen our last caution just yet. I reckon we got one more chance to get a caution here, and then we go green, white, checker. And then I think Anzcar may have one attempt at a green, white, checker.
Yeah, it should be the one attempt for the green, white, checker off the top of my head. But I could be wrong, as I often am, but it's usually the one attempt for the green, white, checker in Anzcar series. So we'll have that extra little chance, and hopefully we'll see it green at the end of the race.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be good to see these guys race hard to the end, but I think the 29 car off those restarts is just pulling that nice gap, and he gets a good big advantage out of that. So right now it's favouring the 29 of Jake Maloney.
Yeah, Jake Maloney has got a strong car out there tonight, and he's been doing well all night as well to keep that car in that position. And it seems that bottom line has been the line for the restarts as well.
Yeah, that's it. But you can never count out the 920 of Chris Purnell. He'll be happy with his position at the moment up in the top 5, especially in P2. But yeah, you can't count him out. And Neil Pearson coming off the road win last week, and yeah, he's got a bit of form as well.
He does. Jake Maloney, of course, coming second in the Truck Series at Las Vegas this week. So a little bit of a role reversal here for Maloney and Purnell. But they'll want to... I think Maloney will be happy if he can take Purnell... will be happy if he manages to beat Purnell this time round. But Purnell has the win from last time. So those two fighting again this week. Yeah,
definitely, and they're both very good racers as well. So they're clean. They'll throw everything at it, and hopefully we end up with a good race and not wrecked race cars.
Yeah, as the lights have gone out again on the pace car. Pace car driver will be tired after this one. They might have to refuel that car and put some new tyres on it, as it will be peeling back into pit lane as it finishes up this corner, and we'll be going back to green here at Homestead Miami for round 3 of the Anzcar Abruzzi Cup. Jake Maloney going to get that lead away again on that bottom line. Neil Pearson is going to be right behind him. Will he get a better restart this time? We'll soon find out. As pace car comes in, Jake Maloney dumps it, gets a good start there. Chris Purnell has a much better restart than last time. He's going to jump down, jump behind Maloney here and try and keep in contact with him.
Yeah, much better start for the 920 there. So he will start to try and work away and gain any advantage he lost there and get back to the 29. But watch out for the 9 car behind. He looks racy as well. You can't count out any of those top 5. And Edward Foster down on the inside there, looking on the inside of Josh Mickelmore, but just too far back to make a move.
Couldn't quite make it done there, but he is looking pretty racy with those guys. I think I heard him on the radio saying he's all he's seen tonight is the back of Jason Martin, which it always feels like that, doesn't it, sometimes when you're racing these cars. But Jake Maloney getting a good launch away again and starting to pull a little bit of a lead. Neil Pearson is still holding on to the back of Chris Purnell with Jason Martin behind him, Josh Mickelmore, Edward Foster, Michael Scurlock, Danny G, Stephen Williams and Jason Hardigan now in the top 10.
Yeah, certainly, as Jake Maloney works his way through 3 and 4, they will come by this time to take the white flag. And once they take the white flag, the next flag will end it, whether it be yellow or checkers.
That's it. It is come to the final lap, and Jake Maloney's got that. Oh, that's
yeah, hard race. Matty Raymond can see there diving out under one of those cars back there. Might be
Gary Wellman, that would be.
Yeah, yep. And Neil Pearson. Chris Purnell going defensive down the back straight here. Pearson's going to get it to his outside here. We'll see if he can make the move around the outside as Jake Maloney works 3 and 4. Pearson's up on that outside. It's going to be close and tight. Pearson's going to get him here. He's going to get it down front straight. Jake Maloney wins this race, and Neil Pearson gets the run down the back straight, front straight, and gets P2 off the 920 of Purnell there. So close race to the end.
Brilliant run there from Neil Pearson off that final caution, off that final turn there. Just using that little bit of side draft, using that high line to his advantage to get a P2. A good start to the season for Neil Pearson and a good race for Jake Maloney, taking his first victory in the 2021 Anzcar Abruzzi Cup.
Yeah, definitely. Good win for Jake Maloney there, and good fight for second there. With as we've seen it all night, that high line, you do get the momentum off the top, and even more so on those tyres. And Chris did all he could there. Tried to squeeze him up to the wall, but just wasn't enough. And there's not much you can do other than wreck him there. And yeah, we got to the race without.
That's it. Use up the remainder of those rear tyres and burn them up and burn that rubber, as is tradition, of course. Maybe blow the engine up as well. But brilliant finish there. Great run there as well. Jake Maloney, we saw quite a lot of pit stops from him, 7 pit stops tonight, but had those tyres working. So let's run through the finishing order as we pull up here. So up in first place is Jake Maloney with Neil Pearson second, Chris Purnell in third with Jason Martin fourth. Fifth is Josh Mickelmore with Edward Foster sixth. Seventh is Stephen Williams with Danny G in eighth. Ninth, Jason Hartigan with Gary Wellman in the top 10. Good finish for Gary Wellman. Matthew Raymond managing to make it up from 41st to 11th at the end of that one, with Tristan Koch finishing 12th. Strong finish from Koch. Jason Nichols in 13th with Ruben Phelps in 14th. Strong race again for Ruben Phelps. Paul Jackson in 15th with Devon Stowe 16th. 17th is Barry Neal with Andrew Dyson 18th. 19th is Justin Witcher, and Philip Wally rounds out our top 20 there. 21st was Reese May with Nigel Patham 22nd. Michael Scurlock 23rd with Greg Spencer 24th. 25th was Raymond Yeager with Phil Otto 26th. 27th was Nathan Button with Lachlan Urquio 28th. 29th, Riley Curtis with Scott Griffiths in 30th. Bradley Wingard and Ryan Bull 31st, 32nd. Aaron Dillon 33rd. Kai Donald 34th. 35th was Hamish Gallagher with Matt Hunter 36th. Dwayne Priest 37th. 38th was Aidan Schultz. 39th was Christopher Finley with Luke Traher 40th. Justin Howe 41st. And finally was Philip Howe in 42nd place.
Yeah, so I think we ended up with 20 cars still on the lead lap there. But yeah, good full action-packed race there tonight.
Absolutely, and what an absolute what a nail-biting finish there for the that second place there. Neil Pearson absolutely flying off that corner, and that is going to do wonders for his championship positioning. I'm just going to quickly run through the top 10 of the championships. I didn't get a chance to do that beforehand, and that's, of course, the top 10 before this race. So Michael Scurlock came into this leading with Josh Mickelmore second. Third was Neil Pearson with Riley Curtis fourth. Fifth was Devon Stover and Lachlan Urquio fifth, in joint fifth. Seventh, Stephen Williams, Raymond Yeager in a joint eighth with Matthew Raymond, and then joint 10th was Norman Clark and Edward Foster and Hamish Gallagher. But joining us up in the booth, we have the third place man. We'll start with him, Chris Purnell. Chris Purnell, welcome back to the booth.
Thanks, buddy.
That was a very, very close finish there between yourself and Neil Pearson.
Yeah, I probably underestimated Neil's speed on the top line, so I sort of thought if I went shallow, I was going to be able to hold him. But yeah, he just had a really good run around the outside, and he deserved it. Awesome race.
That was a brilliant finish there. And look, you worked your way up from 13th, but it looks like it was a bit tricky out there tonight.
It's the cars are really sort of average, I would say here. They just, as soon as you get in traffic, they just push. You know what I mean? You can't do anything with the car. So you got to kind of make your run early and then try and preserve the tyre as long as possible so you don't fall back through the pack either. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of managing from both sides early in the run and then just hoping that you can hold on.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, it's been a relatively good week for yourself, of course, getting the win in the Truck Series. We almost saw a mirror finish of the top two there between yourself and Jake Maloney. But you must be happy with how things are going so far for the season, for getting some good, strong finishes for the Crank Esport team.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked, to be honest with you. I thought I was going to be pretty rusty coming back in after having sort of 7-8 months off away from the oval stuff. So to come back out and fire off pretty good, I'm pretty ecstatic, to be honest with you.
All right, and before we let you go, Chris, the usual shout-outs and all that kind of stuff.
Obviously, you guys up in the broadcast booth, you put on a great stream. Anzcar Admin, the Crank Esports boys, iRace Designs, and Virtual Motorsport Mentor.
Thank you so much, Chris Purnell, for Crank Esports there, getting a third place finish, but another top 3 finish for the team. Congratulations, and I'm sure we'll see you back up in the booth soon.
Thank you.
Next up, we will grab Neil Pearson for the DPR Simrigs Racing car. Neil Pearson, congratulations and welcome back to the booth. Second week running for the Cup Series.
Yeah, pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen you in the booth, and now you're up here twice.
Well, I mean, if you don't include Daytona, I pretty much finished first or second in every race this year. So
absolutely, you've been having an incredibly strong season, start of the season this year for the Cup Series, and great to see, of course. What a brilliant move on that final corner on Chris Purnell there.
Yeah, yeah, he was blocking the inside, so I just went to the outside and just tried to held it pinned as much as I could. And I could see him trying to slow up or drift up a bit, but I think I just had enough overlap and managed to get the momentum and keep it going.
Yeah, it was a good finish for us and good for the broadcast, which we're always happy with. Of course, it was a bit of a hard race, though. We saw a lot of cautions out there tonight. Obviously, for yourself, you looked like you were sort of running a slight counter strategy at some stages. Just talk us through sort of your perspective on that race.
Oh, no, I messed up my first stop. I came into the pits and I was looking at my timing and not at my pit bay, and it just said too far back for about 7 seconds before I realized. So I went from, second all the way mid-pack and just had to drive my way up through. And yeah, and luckily I managed to get back there because, as Chris was saying, these cars are horrible to pass on. There's just so much understeer when you get behind a car, and it'll be better, I think, once you get to the tracks where you actually have to drive them versus like the cookie cutter ones. So like Darlington, Bristol, I think it'll be better there. But
absolutely. Yeah. And we were wondering a bit on that pit stop as well. So glad you talked us through what happened there. But great recovery drive and great second place finish for you. Another top 3 finish for the Cup Series in 2 weeks, and win and a second place. Not bad for you. And of course, that's going to help with the championship scorings. Before we let you go, of course, Neil, usual shout outs and all of that usual stuff.
Yeah, you guys putting on the broadcast. I'll watch it later and see how many times you mentioned me. Singrigs.com, Southwell Lifts and Hoists, Ben Max Mechanical, BetSmart Racing Service, and NP Designs.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Neil Pearson. DPR team, we hope to have you back in the booth sometime soon, and with your current form, I think that's going to be likely.
Hopefully I'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, Neil. See you. And finally, our winner for tonight, Mr. Jake Maloney. Welcome back to the booth, Jake.
Cheers, guys.
Nice to have you back. It's been a while since I spoke to you. Congratulations on that brilliant victory there.
Yeah, that was good race. Bit of a strategy game there, sort of dropping back at the start and just conserving tyres and not changing tyres for the first time until lap 50, and then was just able to pick the moments and basically drive back through the field on fresher tyres than everyone.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I on my timing screen I had you had 7 pit stops tonight because we saw you come in a couple of times for fuel, and we were a little bit worried as that final caution sort of when everybody came in to the pit lane that you might not have any tyres left, but you had a joker up your sleeve, it seems.
Yeah, with the way these tyre sets are, you can just cruise around. But I've made it the strategy just to go to the back for the start of the race and sort of conserve tyres and just chill out at the back there, and then sort of was able to pick the moment on fresh tyres to drive up to the front and then pretty much just control the race from there.
Yeah, you picked that moment perfectly, and you had some really good speed out there tonight. Obviously, it was a bit of a hard race out there, as everybody's saying. The cars were a little bit tricky to drive, and there were quite a few cautions coming out. It looks like towards the end of the race, with those last 30 laps, you were looked like you were probably hoping for it to remain green to the end. Was that the case, or were you hoping for a final caution to get some new tyres on the car?
When I had the big gap, I was sort of hoping for it to stay green when I had a better 4-second gap over everyone. But then once that caution came out, I sort of wanted a caution to break it up because I don't think I had very good long run pace, but was able to just be quick on the short run, which helped me there.
Absolutely, that helped out an awful lot. And well, you've had P2 at the beginning of the week in the Truck Series and a win this week in the Cup Series. Not a bad week for you.
Yeah, pretty solid. 2 really fun races, and yeah, enjoyed the races this week.
So glad to have you back, and glad to have you back up in the booth, Jake. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to tonight?
Just to you guys for the broadcast and all the people that put the series on.
You are most welcome. Thank you so much, Jake Maloney. We'll hopefully have you back in the booth sometime in the year, and hopefully see you at a few more races this season.
Sure, I'll be around. Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Jake Maloney there. So, Dave, finish of the race there. That was an absolute nail-biter for the battle for P2. But yeah, some seriously tough racing out there, and from the sounds of it, these guys were really struggling with those cars.
Yeah, it's always hard here in these cars, but yes, it was a good race, especially at the end to the line there. But a bit of action, a bit of boys have at it there as well. Bit of Robbins racing, but at the end of the day, Jake Maloney has played the strategy game perfectly, and come away with the chocolates tonight.
Yeah, brilliant job from Jake Maloney there. So next up, we will be heading to roll the dice at Las Vegas on the 4th of March. So finally, we're getting out of Florida. But it's had some great races down here. And off to Las Vegas next, slightly different track. Las Vegas can be one of those that can catch you out a little bit, can't it, Dave?
Yeah, definitely. Usually it's hot out there. It's more loose than it is here, so they get a lot of pushy, but expect to be a bit more oversteery at Vegas, but it's a very fast track, and we'll see who's going to gamble at Las Vegas Speedway.
Absolutely. So we will wish you all a good night here. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and for enjoying the race here on the SimShed Broadcasting Network. And from the Abruzzi Anzcar Cup, this is myself, Carl Withy, Dave Douglas, and of course JP, wishing you all a good night. Good night.